I am starting my presentation. My title is Sites of Geoheritage in and around Dehradun. As I belong to Dehradun, I find there are so many problems here which I shall discuss, and these sites should be preserved. Dehradun is one of the modest-sized city located in the state of Uttarakhand. It is situated in valley, and it is interim capital of Uttarakhand, sir, for past 20 years. The problem with the city is that in last 20 years there is a tremendous rise in population, which is about 30% per decade. And as a result of that population rise, every nook and corner of valley is being occupied by the persons who are coming from either from the different parts of the state or from within the state. This is the district map of Dehradun. Dehradun district starts from Rishikesh, Haridwar, and it goes up to Tuni. This is more than 100 kilometers long, 120 kilometers long, and this part is valley, sir. This is the map of the Dehradun Valley. This valley is about 2000 square kilometer in area. This valley is situated at the junction of Outer Himalaya and Lesser Himalaya. South of the junction of the Outer Himalaya and Lesser Himalaya, this is the geological map of Himalaya. It is prepared by my student. The Doon Valley is somewhere here. Then next is the tectonic map of Himalaya. In this tectonic map, this blue color is Indo-Gangetic Plain, followed by light red color, which is the Outer Himalaya. Then orange color is the Lesser Himalaya. We are at the contact of Outer and Lesser Himalaya, and this is the geological map. Here, the Dehradun is situated somewhere here. The Outer Himalaya is made up of shivalik rocks, and Lesser Himalaya is made up of varieties of Precambrian rocks as well as some marine transgression rocks, which are of Permian age and then Eocene, Paleocene age. This is the geological map of state. Now, as far as geology of Dehradun is concerned, the valley floor is made up of dune gravel, which is of variable thickness. It is a prism-shaped body. Somewhere it is consolidated and somewhere it is loose material. So, where it is consolidated, particularly in the northern part of the valley, where it is quite thick, and towards the southern side, the dune gravels are loose. The consolidated part is known as dune gravels, which are 50,000 years and still older. The south of the valley is made up of the shivalik rocks, and shivalik is somewhere here. This is the shivalik formation, shivalik supergroup. This is made up of upper shivalik and middle shivalik. At very few places, particularly either in Yamuna Valley or also at very small locality in Dehradun, lower shivalik is exposed. To the north of this, there is a main boundary thrust. This to north of the main boundary thrust, Krol Nepe is exposed, and within the Krol Nepe, we have got the Amri phyllites or Amri thrust rocks. This is the basic geological setup of the Doon Valley. We have got main boundary fault, and we have got the Himalayan frontal fault in the south, which is known as Mohan thrust. Then towards the east, we have got this fault is known as Ganga strike slip fault. This is the Yamuna strike slip fault. So this valley is nicely bounded by 4 major active faults. This is another geological map which is showing that the sediments brought out by the higher Lesser Himalayan reaches, upper part of the Lesser Himalaya, they are deposited as fens, geomorphic fens. This is the Doon fen, Donga fen. This is the central part is Doon fen, and eastern part is Bhogpur fen. So these are the 3 fens which are consolidated, and towards the north again we have got the Lesser Himalaya, south it is the Shivalik. In this map, some tectonic features are shown. Here you can see the thrust rocks of Amri, and then here the different faults are shown, and their drainage network is also shown partially here. Now, this valley, because it is situated at the junction of Outer Himalaya and Lesser Himalaya, it has so many unique characters that its geology is unique because we get the two big divisions of Himalaya that are sutured at the main boundary fault. And if you go 30 kilometers south uh, towards the UP side, then at Mohand we have got another this Himalayan frontal fault. So within say 30 to 40 kilometer, we have got Indo-Gangetic Plain, Outer Himalaya, and Lesser Himalaya. And Lesser Himalaya is kept by metamorphic rocks. Probably they have come from the Higher Himalaya. So this is a unique geological setup. And if you go in the upper part, higher heights of the Dehradun district, there we get the very old Chakrata formation rocks, which are nearly 2000 million year old. Uh, because of this unique setup and varieties of the stratigraphic formation, we have got so many heritage sites here. One is Sazdhara Sulphur Spring, which is very well known. Then followed by Roberts Cave, uh, Tapkeshwar temples. These three are the popular sites for tourists, and they are also for the geology students and geological workers. Then we have got main boundary fault. The main boundary fault is exposed at many places, but the problem with the main boundary fault, I will come later on. And in this, then Himalayan frontal fault, it is exposed in the south. This is also a very good area for the geological excursion and for the general public, where we can show how the Himalaya mountain is evolved from low height to higher height. Then we have got very interesting in formation, that is the Cambrian, Precambrian contact is here, which is known as Toltal boundary locally, and this boundary is exposed in phosphorite mine. So this probably in 1992, International Commission came here, and when they were finalizing the uh, global stratigraphy site type area, so they considered this location as one of the location for uh, global stratigraphic type area. Then Tal Valley is located about 70 kilometers from Dehradun, where we have got varieties of formations. Then in Yamuna Valley, again we have got uh, one dam is coming up along the Yamuna, across the Yamuna River at Lakhwar, and moving few kilometers north, we got good exposure of this Gosans. Then Chakrata formation, which is a very prominent formation of the Uttarakhand Lesser Himalaya. It is about 2000 million year old. Then this formation is deep water deposit, uh, and it has got fleece type of rocks, and the sedimentary structure is so well developed that it can be considered as the type area for the fleece if detailed study is made. Now I am coming to one by one. This is the Sazdhara area. The Sazdhara area, the river is perennial. It is the Baldi river. The Baldi river is moderate sized river, and it is coming from the Lesser Himalaya, Masuri Hills, originating near Surkanda Devi Peak. If you see here, then lot of construction activity has taken place. This photo is taken few years back, and now it is highly congested area. This, because of congestion, the natural beauty of this is gone, and this sulfur springs, which is very famous all over the world, they are now dried up. This is the biggest problem, that we don't see the sulfur spring. This photograph was taken at least 5 to 6 years ago, but because of the construction and human population pressure, agriculture practices, and other reasons, the sulfur springs are gone. Today, if you go to Sazdhara area, then we feel the sulfurous smell, and this sulfurous smell is coming from seepage of water, which is not as falling like this, which is shown in this map. To attract the tourist, they have constructed this a pond near to the this side, but that pond is today it is dried, so there is no uh, falling of the sulfur water from the sulfur springs. So this is need to be revived if we want to maintain the tourist flow and then natural beauty, and you can see the construction here. So the natural charm has gone and the springs have dried up. This is instead of sulfur springs, what they have done, that they have put some retaining wall here across the river valley. So small ponds are created, and when one go in this pond, then he feels some sulfurous smell, but it is not that strong as it used to come from the water. This is the peak tourist season time when lot of uh, these bunds are made across the river, and we can see many tourists are bathing here, and all over the places we see the construction. So as a result of construction, the natural sites that is totally damaged, and uh, two 200 meters away from that we get a landslide. It is the now highly landslide prone area because of the population pressure. This is the landslide is occurring in the Crole limestone. It is basically a dolomite. It is belonging to Crole B, Crole C, not B. In opposite side of the river, I mean on the right bank, we have got stalactite, stalagmite. These stalactite, stalagmites, they have developed in the limestone caves. There are many caves which are of small size, and there may be some 10 feet to 15 feet. That's all it is in the maximum length, and few feet in depth. And the height of the caves is varying from place to place. It is somewhere uh, 5 feet, somewhere it is 7 feet, 8 feet. That is the maximum. And the caves, there are 2 to 3 levels of caves that indicates the upliftment of the area. So at least now we can preserve these caves. Now what happening in the cave is that either people are doing some commercial activity, or they have put up some small temples like that. So in course of time, if things goes on like this, then there is a possibility that they may convert into pakka shops if no action is taken or no is prepared. And if you move 2 kilometers away, then this is very interesting site. It is the contact of black chert. Here we can see it is chert and cell. Now uh, in this we get the gypsum deposits. This area is faulted one, and it is a Sherku fault. This fault has crushed the rocks here, and as a crushing, we have got lot of pore spaces and works and cavities. In the works and cavities, we get the gypsum mineralization. So these white patches, they are the gypsum, uh, and this gypsum, of course, it cannot be mined commercially because in the ore or in the gypsum mineral, lot of extra other material is there. That is the waste. And again, if you move some inside, I mean, there is a Chamasari village. If you go towards the Chamasari village from Sajdhara, which is about 1.5 kilometers from the main Sajdhara, we can see the faulting in the Crole. There is a beautiful fold and it is being cut. So the natural heritage of Sajdhara was once upon a time, it was quite marvelous. But now because of the commercial activity, this is slowly going away, and a lot of houses have come up, or shops have come up, or hotels have come up, or resorts. There are so many other activities. So in if the construction goes like this, then in some years, whatever I have shown, they might either concealed or they might be hidden under the construction of the civil features. Next, moving over to the Tapkeshwar temple, it is 5 to 6 kilometers away from 6 kilometers from the Dehradun. This temple is at the base of the river. This river is known as Tamas River. Somebody call it Nalotra Nala. Somebody call it Tons. There are two Tons River. One is the famous mighty Tons River, and this is a minor Tons. So there are three names for this river: Tons, Tamas, and Nalotra Nala. This area is made up of dune gravels, consolidated dune gravels. It is the a narrow gorge. We can see here the gorge is somewhere it is very narrowing, somewhere it is widening, and it shows the several episodes of upliftment. This one, the present river floor is here, the past river floor is here, so we can count number of upliftment episode in this place. Again, same thing is happening with the Tapkeshwar temple area because it is the religious site. So it is used for religious purpose, and so many temples have come up. Say 20 years or 25 years back, there was only one temple, and there was it was under natural condition. Now the temple is modified, and around this site which I am showing, there are number of temple have come up, and slowly this site is modified. So this gorge and natural beauty is slowly it is diminishing. This is the horizontal bedded dune gravels, and we can see here many grooves. These grooves indicates the former river level. So it is also from geological point of view, excellent place where one can see the epiogenic upliftment in Doon Valley. Then I am coming to the main boundary fault area. The hills which are visible here, they are abruptly rising from the Dehradun plain, valley floor. So almost the height at this place is about 600 meter or 700 meter, and this place height is 2000 to 2500 meter. So within a few kilometer distance, crow fly distance, the height is rising from nearly 1800 meters. Now this upliftment of the hills is because of the main boundary fault, and this is the place where the wall is constructed. Here the main boundary fault is passing through along the road, and about say 15 years back, we can see the main boundary fault was going like this, but now the main boundary fault is concealed not only at one place but entire in a stretch of 200 meter. The retaining wall is constructed, and beyond that also, beyond these hills, also retaining walls are present. So the biggest problem now is that when 20 years back or 15 years back, I used to take my student here to show the main boundary fault, that is now totally invisible because of the retaining wall. This is the exact place where the main boundary fault was concealed. In this map, this is the location of main boundary fault which was dipping, and the main boundary fault has come here in contact with the dune gravels. So this beautiful site that has totally disappeared or hidden in the retaining wall. This is the main boundary fault in Sajdhara. Here we can see the crust Chandpur phyllite. The problem with the phyllite is that it is very well crushed, and we can see a section of 30 to 40 meter of height, but the main boundary fault exact contact with the dune gravel or the shivalik is not visible. Only in the certain portion in the center part of the main boundary fault we can see this as evidence, the crushing of the rocks, and somewhere in this quartz veins are present, and then we can see the different types of joints and change in bedding character of the foliation character of the phyllite. Somewhere it is a schistous rock, green schist like rock. Here we can see the quartz vein, and then we can see the change in depth here. Then there are joints, and because of the crushing, we can see the small flakes, they are coming out. So it is a brittle fault. The brittle fault has got somewhere quartzite bands, and in these quartzite bands, they are less deformed, and this is more deformed. Phyllite is more deformed. So again, this site is not very good for study. Now we coming to the Himalayan frontal fault, which makes the contact between the Indo-Gangetic plain and the outer Himalaya, that is the Shivalik. This is the Shivalik and this is the Doon Reval. It is just see the vertical slope. This vertical slope indicating the passing of the main boundary Himalayan frontal fault, and in this just moving few meters towards the hinterland side, we can see the big boulders of Shivalik. Fairy balls and stones are here. Then this is the middle Shivalik rocks, and it is you can see the big boulders here. So that indicates the might of the river. Now this site is relatively undisturbed, so this can be used as a type, tourist geoheritage site if proper maintenance is done. So it can be shown that the contact between two units, that is the outer Himalaya and the Indo-Gangetic plain. Now this is the beautiful outcrop of the Shivalik sandstone, where we can see the graded bedding, change in depth, and change in behavior of the joint patterns, variation in joint patterns of the middle Shivalik formation, middle Shivalik sandstone. Now we coming to another location which is known as Tal Valley. Tal Valley is situated between Haridwar and Rishikesh area, to the east of Haridwar and Rishikesh. We have to go to Tal Valley by crossing the Veerbhadra Barrage. From Veerbhadra Barrage, we take the canal route and moving 5 to 6 kilometers towards the downstream side, we go to Bhogpur Talla village, and then we move inside. It's a 3 or 4 kilometers. By moving inside, we come across excellent exposure of the main boundary fault. Here, the main boundary fault has burned the rocks, which we can see dark gray, bluish gray rocks. And in this dark bluish gray rock, selenite crystals are found. They are of variable size. Some are 4 to 5 millimeter, and rarely we get, if we dig this section, then 2 centimeter size of selenite, perfectly transparent, perfect from crystallographical point of view. Crystals are available here. And within this burnt zone or fault plane, we also get the quartz veins. This is a distant view. Here we can see the triangular facets, which are the indicating the faults, presence of the fault here. And then we can see change in height here. So there is an abrupt change in the height from here to here. So this is the excellent section of the Tal Valley, where we can see the main boundary fault, and this is the Tal River. If we move inside the Tal River, then we come across fossiliferous Takara formation, fossiliferous Subatu formation. Then we come across the proper Tal formation, which is the on the basis of that Tal River, the Tal formation name is given. So this Tal River is there, but the Tal formation is 2 kilometers from this place towards the inner side. And in the Tal formation, we get the folds. If we move further towards the upstream side, then we get there Subatu formation and Kakara formation. They are again repeated because of the tectonics. And further moving upward, then we get that Amri thrust, that is the metamorphic rock, sericitic phyllite or sericitic cyst, something like mica sericite cyst. So this Tal Valley is the excellent location where we can see the fossiliferous formation, we can see the sedimentary rocks, we can see the varieties of the structural features. So it is a ideal candidate for geoheritage site or geopark. Within say 5 to 6 kilometers, we get varieties of the geomorphic features, variety of the sedimentary deposit, because the valley floor, this to this, is more than half kilometer in width. So I consider that this place should be properly preserved by combined effort of geoheritage interested people. Now, another very interesting site is this Lakwar Dam site in Yamuna Valley. This Yamuna Valley, this is the Yamuna River. The Yamuna River is flowing in a meander course, and this point a dam is coming up. The dam is built on the basic igneous rocks, basic dike, which is about 800-meter wide, and this is the dam axis is constructed. Dam axis is passing through that center of the dike. So on igneous rock, a foundation is planned, and in a few years the dam will come up. If we move further in this, then 4 to 5 kilometer again towards the upstream side, we come across the Gosans. Beautiful Gosans are present in the fault plain. Then we can see the different colors of Gosans, and the crushing of the rocks, shear zones, joint planes, then fault plane striations, then lineations. There are many things here. Now, again, another beautiful Gosans with multicolor hues, multi-hues, brown color, orange color, deep blue color, white color, yellow color, orange color. So many colors are there. So it indicates the hidden mineral deposit. The GSI should explore the deposits in detail here. So after this, I come to the another area, that is the Chakrata region, which I talked in the beginning. This area is about 95 to 96 kilometers from Dehradun. The all green color area is known as shown here is the Chakrata formation. It is developing across the entire state, particularly in the Garhwal Himalaya. This Chakrata is the town is here, and this is the type area of the Chakrata formation. In this Chakrata formation area, we have got deep water sedimentary rock, which are the siltstone and shale formed long back, say 2000 million years ago, but they contain excellent sedimentary structure. Almost all sedimentary structure we read in the textbook, they occur here in the textbook style. So if a detailed study is made of this area, then it can become a future type area of the fleece deposit in our country or as well as in the world, because the formation is very
Biyani.
and yes, sir.
Will you be able to conclude in the next 3 minutes or so?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much.
So this is an ideal candidate for geopar, particularly of the its fleece deposit. Then also some tectonic features are here. Chakrata thrust, Gaze thrust, 3/4 thrust are passing from here, and then towards the north, moving few kilometers, we have got the typical Mandhali village, which is known as Mandhali Formation in Lesser Himalaya. That is the Pyritiferous. So this is the excellent location for the geological tours, particularly for geology students who are interested in sedimentary petrology and deep water sedimentary rock as well as shallow water sedimentary rock. Now, this is the Maldevta area, sir. I don't have a good photograph of this area because due to lockdown condition, I could not bring it. This road is going towards the Maldevta village, from Maldevta village to here. If you go further, then we find here Surkhet place are PPCL mines. Now, in this road, we get the quartzite, that is the Nakthat quartzite, followed by Blaney formation, followed by infracoal slate, Kroll and Tal. Now, this formation starts here and goes up to here. The Nakthat quartzite is 1800 million year old, and the Tal formation is Cambrian. Within the Tal formation, we have got trilobita fossils which are exposed at some other location at the Jabarkhet area, that is near to the Mussoorie, 5 to 6 kilometers from Mussoorie. There is a small village, Jabarkhet, and in Jabarkhet, people have reported the trilobita fossil. But the Maldevta area is significant because here at the contact of Kroll and Tal formation, we get the conodont fossil, and these conodont fossil marks the beginning of the Cambrian. So it is the place where Cambrian Precambrian contact exists, and that contact is very remarkably seen here. And now an international commission of stratigraphy has came visited this place in 1992, and they saw this area, and it was considered as one of the site for the type section of the Cambrian Precambrian boundary. But they favored the Newfoundland area of USA as the type area, and they considered this as a reference area. Still, yeah, of course, the Maldota mine or PPCL mine that was producing phosphorite, that is closed. But if we say open the edit and just for 30 meters, then we can see the excellent contact of the Kroll and Thal formation, that is the Precambrian and Cambrian. Thal is considered as Cambrian, and Kroll is considered as Precambrian. And Kroll is Neoproterozoic, and Nagthat, which is the beginning here, it is 1800 million year old. So there is a complete history of 1800 million year to 500 million years. And in between there is a gap of 1000 million year. As some worker says, like Dr. Azmi says, that there is a gap unconformity and between the Blaney and Nagthat. So that 1000 million year gap is a remarkable gap in Indian stratigraphy. So this area is very, very important, not only from economic point of view, that is there was a phosphorite mine, and but stratigraphy wise also very important, and then of course limestone and gypsum is there. So then we can also develop this mine as a tourist spot, because it is the underground mine, and then towards the top, I mean this side, there is a village called Surkhet. So here the open cast mine was there. So at one places for the same phosphorite there was open cast mine, and when we come to the riverbed level there was underground mine. So it is a unique place. So these are the things which I want to be considered for a geoheritage site. So thank you very much. I am thankful to Sri Ravi sir for supporting me and bearing all the things. Then Dr. Vipin Chanalia, Dr. Sheetal Kanodia, and Dr. Abhishek Gupta. Thank you very much, sir. So I end my presentation here.
Okay. Dr. Biyani, thank you so much for your presentation. And this brings us to the end of this the third presentation. We don't have much time for discussion, but if there is any question, maybe we can take one, maybe or two, very quickly. There is something.
May I have a?
Yeah.
Can I
Sure.
ask? Dr. Biyani, thank you for a wonderful presentation, and it was very elaborate and highly educating. I just wanted to know one thing from you, probably because the exhaustive description. I'm afraid that probably the mention of Gaussen didn't get much space. Probably the evidences which you have shown, not very convincing. Could you elaborate whether you have got a lateritic profile as connected with the horizon above water, or the sulfide mineralization which is associated with Gaussen? Have you seen any? Have you, or can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, we have seen minor presence of this malachite azurite there.
Yeah, that is probably was needed.
Yeah. And sir, because of the steep slope, laterite profile cannot develop there. And fault plane is that the area which I have shown where the Gaussens was there, it is in the Aglar fault. The fault is about 40 kilometers long. So it is a vertical fault, probably a strike slip fault, and it is probably mineralization has taken place in that fault, because in Himalayan region we find at so many places the mineralization.
Right.
Gypsum we get, sorry sir, lead we get in the Hanuman Shakti area, and copper we get in Janki Shakti area, which is about 100 kilometers from there, which is my PhD area.
I see. You mentioned some pyrite also.
pyrite
is it connected with this fault? No.
No, sir, not economical at all.
It's
It is just
different
dissolving in
location.
water and then giving sulfurous smell in Crore limestone.
Okay. So the fault is actually the controlling mineralization of sulfide. So and you have got chalcopyrite. Malachite.
Chalcopyrite is of course there, but in Hanuman Chatti, sir. Here I have not seen chalcopyrite.
Malachite you meant?
Hanuman Chatti is just
no malachite.
No, malachite I have seen here. This is
here,
the Yamuna Bridge area. The location I have shown, it is near because it is a almost deserted area. Nobody is there, no village is there. But to move 500 meters, then we get the Yamuna Bridge. So it is just on the top of the Yamuna Bridge. This location is there.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Bihari.
Okay, sir.
It was wonderful presentation.
Thank you so much. And it was wonderful that Dr. Biyani was able to come up with this presentation without any further issues and problems. So to sum up, we have had 3 presentations